Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Here I am, and I have to say I don't know where this video is going to go because I haven't planned anything, which is weird for me because I'm like often writing a script out, I am reviewing it, and then I'm kind of like, okay, this is what I want to say to you guys, but today I'm off the script. And I'm kind of excited because I've been wanting to do this. But yeah, so before you even see this video, you probably know what it's about from the title, but this is more of a chit chat video. I'm excited to do it. And let's just bring back the old school vibes type of videos. Oh, the ones that are like, let's just chat about life. Let's just chat about, like, you get to know me, I get to know you in the comments, and just take it from there. So because today's video is a little bit of a chit chat video, I want to talk about just life. And I feel like I am very private when I am, talking about my life, my testimony. And there are some things that obviously I have to keep like under wrap because, it's just my life and I have every right to do that. But I do want to, in an effort to be more transparent, in an effort to also relate. And I know that women out there also deal with single parenting, also deal with co-parenting, also deal with wrestling through faith and just getting through this season. And it's funny because me and Andrew are always talking. We're so intentional, especially when it comes to parenting, when it comes to our relationship, when it comes to faith. Like, we're trying to be in the best way that we could as two sinners, as people who have dealt with, life in general. We try to be so intentional on how we walk this life and how we are impacting our kids and how we are breaking generational patterns and how we want to, foster a very healthy, well-rounded, foundational rock of faith and family and experiences for our children that we didn't have as kids. And so because we are so intentional, I really do feel this urge and this desire, because I just love creating content, I want to share that with you guys too. And so maybe that's why I keep coming back to these videos, because I want to create, to share, to also, for anyone who needs to hear this. I mentioned this in my previous video. I mentioned that the thing that made me come back, ultimately made me come back, was a week or two ago. I was scrolling through my phone, looking at my YouTube channel, saw previous videos of where I was 2-3 years ago, and I was so grateful in that moment. And it's funny because also in that moment I was wrestling with like feeling a little distant from God, feeling like, how do I get out of this slump? How do I like get myself out of this? Because I know the truth is He's with me. The truth is that I have so much to be grateful for, but yet I keep feeling stuck. And I was looking through these videos and I was realizing and remembering how tough of a time it was to be a single parent at that time. How much was on my plate that I didn't even share in the video. What I was going through during that time, the mental battles, the financial battles, just all of it. And it really made me take a step back and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for taking me out of that situation. Thank you, God, for redeeming a lot of it. Thank you, God, for Andrew, who I met later. Like, it was amazing to kind of see. And I'm glad I documented it, because even for my own remembrance, it reminded me that, like, God is with you. And if you choose to lean on Him, He will provide. Not in all the ways that we expect, but He does. And so, yeah, me and Andrew's always talking about just different stuff. And even last night, like, we're talking about parenting strategies and our kids and their strengths and what we feel like we can help them with. And just to give a little background too, like, maybe even part of my testimony story, like, I came from a childhood that was very, very like unstable, and so many ways too. And it took a lot for me when I got older to recognize what wasn't normal and what was normal, and also to rewire my own thinking patterns, because a lot of it, like, you come out of a toxic environment, right? You try to push, if you do come out of a toxic environment, thinking you're healed, thinking that you are all set, that you have nothing to worry about, like you finally beat it, like you're out. But then you don't realize that you are now the problem because it tainted you so much, and it may have been out of your control at the time. But as an adult, you realize, like, no, these are things I have to work through, because now I'm hurting the people around me. Now I'm stunting my own growth. Now I am not operating in ways I should be operating in healthy ways, because I was exposed and I learned that this is all normal. So that's, like, in a nutshell what happened to me, and like how I grew up, and I got older and realized there's things with me that I need to battle through and stuff. And then also things that in my adulthood that weren't my fault, still out of my control. And so just battling all of that stuff ultimately led me to having to work through that stuff. And that's even before I fully, like, recommitted my life back to Jesus and decided, like, okay, he is the only way. And I decided that at 26, and really, like, depending on him and stuff. And so once Jesus entered my life again, it was a game changer, not overnight, but gradually and, eventually. But yeah, so today I want to talk about just all of those things. I want to talk about where I am now and where, I hope to be, I guess. And just all the things about, like, parenting and stuff. So one of the things that me and Andrew were talking about, was it yesterday? Yeah, I was sharing with him about, like, how I am navigating, and he knows all of this too, so it's not like it's all new, but just to, like, give you guys context, like, how I'm navigating, like, parenting Gabriel and Caleb, and the struggles there in being a solo parent, but having to, like, be both, because I'm the primary parent, and so having to navigate, like, their personalities versus mine, versus, like, my needs versus their needs, and all of that stuff. And it gets so overwhelming. If you're a single parent, it is so overwhelming how to balance. And especially if you're trying to be intentional, especially if you're trying to teach them things that you are still learning, and you're trying to give them healed versions of yourself that you yourself are not fully healed from. It's such a challenge, but I know that it'll be worth it in the end. But I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I was scared, that I am scared, just because I don't know the unknown. I don't know what things may pop up. And so that's why I guess it's important to rest in Jesus and know that, like, it's not all in my control. And I know this, but I have to remind myself also that that's, the case. And so we were just talking through it, and I was reminded in that moment of how beneficial it is to have someone in your corner all the time. We share the same parental styles of, like, raising our kids. And from the beginning, very beginning. By the way, if you haven't seen my other videos, like, Andrew is my boyfriend. We have been dating for well over 3 years now, and he is my rock. He's my best friend. Like, he is actually my best friend. If I don't know anything about myself, like, he is the next person to know everything, because he literally, I feel like he knows me so well. But yeah, so we were just talking about that and talking about strategies and things like that. And it was just, what it reminded me in that moment is how important it is to have someone in your corner who understands you, who, if you are able to find someone like that, it is truly, truly a blessing. Because there was a moment in time in my, in my life, in taking care of my kids and stuff, where I was truly alone. Like, no one really understood. I didn't have people to kind of bounce off ideas who were kind of on the same thinking level or the same level of intentionality I have for my kids. And so having someone like that is such a blessing. So if you have someone in your life who is like that, whether that be your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad, a family member, like really, really cherish them, because it is so, I feel like it's so rare. And especially as single moms like me and you, like we need that. We're constantly in our heads all the time, and it can be so exhausting. So that's something else that I'm really, really thankful for. And just specifically this season, I'm also thankful for just being able to do things that I didn't get to do um, even a few years ago. Maybe even like 2 years ago, I wasn't able to do it. Whether it be I didn't have the time, I didn't have the money, but now I'm at a place where I'm still a solo mom. I'm still in my own place, but I have learned to truly appreciate the season that I'm in now, and it's been such a blessing. One of the things that I do is that I've gotten back to my hobbies, and it sounds, or I found new hobbies too, actually. Like it's so silly for me to say, because I feel like, I don't know, if you don't do this, then like you might look at me like she's such a child. But Gabriel and Caleb have a Nintendo Switch, and the two, and they got it. Andrew got it as a gift for them, and I picked it up one day because they weren't using it, because they're like young. Like Gabriel's 7, Caleb's 5. They get these new expensive things. They're like, oh, okay, let me go back to the old stuff that I was playing with. And so like one day, it was during actually over the summer last year, where they left for a couple weeks, and I was just sitting bored, and I was like, I have all this free time. I don't know what to do with it. But I really wanted to like cherish it, because we didn't have any trips planned or anything like that. And I really just wanted to rest as much as I can, because I don't get that time. And so I just picked up their Switch. I started playing, and I was like, I don't really like their games. And then I like downloaded this game called Discounty, and I got stuck to it. And you know what it reminded me of, that I blocked out in my head, of when I was in high school and middle school, and I think even when I was like in elementary and stuff. Like, I was such a little gamer. Like, I was playing all these games, probably games that I probably shouldn't have at that age, but I was playing a lot of, like, maybe in high school, like these PC games, like Diner Dash, and I don't know if you like played these games when you were younger, but those like Typhoon games, and it was like such a blast to play that. And so like I was playing these games that reminded me of that, and it brought back this like sense of like childhood peace. Like nothing else in the world like matters. What only matters is making those burgers and making sure it goes to the right customers at the right time. And so like, I don't know, ever since then though, I've been playing like little games, and essentially like the Switch 2 is mine. Like, sorry but not sorry, like this 2 is mine. And they know this, and they absolutely like do not care, because they only care about the Switch that they do have. So, and the games that they play aren't even like, it's not even like a Switch 2 game, so they're perfectly fine with it. But that's a hobby that I've taken on, that I just love, because it really gets me out of the space of like all the million things that I have to do day to day. That really takes me like away from it and gives me a task per se, because my mind is such a planner. I like cram it with so many different things, but now I get to do task related things in the form of a game, and it's so much fun. Another hobby that I do is I read a lot. I tend to read a lot of Christian books, even though I'm open to just reading like any fiction book. But I tend to lean more Christian, just because like it really challenges me. It convicts me. I like that it's also helping me work through. It feels healing in a way, and so I like that. And yeah, so I've just been incorporating just random hobbies, whether I just feel like coloring one day, reading another, watching a show and not feeling guilty about it. Like recently, I'm not going to say this is a hobby yet, because it's only been like 3 days, but I decided to start doing at-home workouts again, because 31 and I should be working out. But like the past, I think, year now, I stopped like 6 months ago. And so yeah, I'm doing a lot right now. But again, this is all from a place of gratefulness. This is all from a place of a lot of time has passed by from where I started to where I am now. And maybe in the next chit chat random video, I'll talk about how I got here, because that's huge too. I didn't just sit here and just wish it to happen, and it did. There was some intentionality. There was a lot of intentionality, a lot of hard work, a lot of saying yes to things that I didn't really feel like I had the energy for, and yet I did push through, but not by my own strength. It was truly by God. And by a combination of like leaning on him and the help that he provided in bringing Andrew into my life, and the people that I was like, surrounded by in certain seasons, like family and friends to talk to, and just like community at church. Like, it was just a bunch of different things in the season where I needed to, to step out or do certain things. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone a lot. Like, you've seen, if you've watched all my videos, you know that I'm more introverted, and which is why my kids stress me out, because they're more extroverted. But I'm constantly changing and growing, and I'm just so grateful for where I am now. And yeah, so I'm gonna end here to not ruin this video by rambling, but I like these little chit chat videos. I think that maybe one day, Andrew, if you're seeing this right now, I would love for Andrew to come in this video for us to like talk about the things that we talk about as far as parenting or relationships, because I feel like we have so many good golden nuggets that we can share. And just to give the perspective on two single parents who literally gave up like ourselves for God, and also for like to make sure our kids are in better places than we were in our childhood, than we were in our adulthood, and to not make the same mistakes. Now, I can't control my kids' future, but what we can do is set them up for success and give them the more healed version of ourselves, and give them a better foundation to go off of in faith and in trusting God than we did. Introduce God to them a lot stronger and more theologically sound and more confident than we were, growing up. So yeah, I feel like we have a lot of good nuggets, and I would love if Andrew would join me. But if he doesn't, just know that I'll be sharing a lot of his wisdom too, because he is such a great communicator. So I'm going to end here, and I'm going to say God bless. Oh, also, I wanted to end every chit chat with a Bible verse, and I want to start with my favorite, actually. My favorite is Jeremiah 17:8. Jeremiah 17:8 reads, "He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit." The thing that kept me going in, this verse is the fact that it says it does not cease to bear fruit, no matter what season it's in. The other thing that makes me hold on to this verse so much is the fact that the tree is rooted by the water. It does not move. It does not waver. It does not break down. It does not die. It is rooted by the water. The water is its life source. And so that is the pedestal that I try to so desperately cling on to, is like, God, you are my life source. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how big of a problem it seems in my life, no matter how real these threats are, or battles are, or obstacles are, no matter how short-sighted I may seem in the moment, or I may be even in the moment, not just seem, but you are my life source. And at the end of the day, not my will, but yours. So I will end here, and I hope you guys have a blessed day and week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.